you can't be scared. Like, and I think that's the main thing with Mulkey. I love that. I never have to worry about that here. I tell them all the time in recruiting, I'm like, if you start acting up, I'm calling your parents. I'm calling them. Like, if it gets to a certain point, I will call them, and they say I'm a snitch and all of that. But I think that it's just a part of having real relationships.
Super excited to be doing a on-site Behind Enemy Lines edition here of the Coach's Playbook podcast. Coach Gary Redus was so gracious and grateful to hop on and spend some time and share his knowledge with us. You know, before we do get going, though, I gotta let you know, before you started recruiting Zakiya Johnson, and I was coaching high school in Louisville, and as an 8th grader, one of her AAU teammates played for me, and so we were on her first, but it was hard to beat Sacred Heart out for kids. So you did a much better job than I did with her.
Thank you.
So. No, Coach, you know, I think in just such a short amount of time, you've established yourself as an elite recruiter. You're so much more than that. Being named one of the WBCA 30 under 30 coaches, being named to the Athletics top up-and-coming assistant coaches, things like that. You know, what is it about your approach that allows you to connect to kids in a unique but authentic way? I mean, today, you know, especially like today's kids.
I think that it's just that. I think it's the authenticity. I think I'm really genuine in my approach. I just try to meet them where they are. I try to talk to them like I would talk to anybody. Like I tell them right away, like even during the recruiting process, like I'm not big on the whole coach thing. Like I get I'm a coach. Like I get that there's a certain level of respect, but it goes from Coach Redus to Coach G to G very quick. Like I'm just me, and I think that I try to make sure that they understand that, and I think that I can get my point across even with being like very normal. So, you know, I just try to be genuine. I try to be myself, you know. And I'm the same person when I'm recruiting them as I am when they get to campus. I fuss at them a little bit more when they get to campus, but I'm really just the same me.
Yeah, and I think that resonates, you know, big time with kids today. I think, you know, growing up as you know, when we probably were playing, there was a lot of you respect someone because of their title, and you know, it was a very strict and rigid way of coming up, and that's just the way it was. And you know, I think so many people have a negative connotation when they talk about, you know, kids today, but I think, you know, there's so much like that they bring to the table, and there's pressures that they deal with that we'll never understand. And so I think understanding that they want that relationship piece. You can still earn their respect without demanding it and using your title. I always think like your title and your leadership power is the lowest form of leadership.
Yes.
You know, like that privilege is the lowest form of leadership.
Yes. I mean, these kids are smart now. Like they're really smart, and I think they're more empowered. I think now more than ever, I think that they understand the power that they do have. And because they have that power, especially in college sports, you know, you can leave, you know, you got the whole NIL thing, you got the transfer portal. So you really have to show these kids that you care. People ask all the time, like, how is it re-recruiting the kids that you already have? I don't look at it like that. I don't look at it like that at all. I think that you just have to be genuine, and you have to care. And some people aren't a good fit. Like I think that sometimes you run into that, but I think a lot of times these kids really just want to know that you care. You know, however it is that you show them that you care, that's different for everyone, but they just want to know that you care.
I think that's good stuff, and I think as the quicker as coaches that we understand that, and we, you know, if you sit around and bang your head against the wall waiting for them to adapt to you, I mean, it's going to be a long career. I think, like you said, meeting them where they are and going from there is huge.
Yeah.
So I know you've got goals to be a head coach someday, and I think a lot of assistants are in the same boat. You know, I think they know that that's the end goal. Have you thought about what things might help you realize when you think that time is right, or when you're ready for that, or have you even thought much about that?
I think about it some, but honestly, like that isn't the most important thing to me, especially not right now. Like right now, I'm just here. Like I'm here. I'm at LSU. I'm excited about it. I can't get past like we play y'all tonight. Like, that's where I am. I'm still on, like, what recruiting calls I have tonight. You get what I'm saying? So I think about the future. I prepare for it, but it's not something that I'm, like, trying to get to. I know that the time is going to come. I came to LSU to prepare for that. I think that was the main thing for me. I've been a lot of different places. I've seen a lot of different things. I think that I came here to try to figure out how to run a championship program. And I've learned so much from Coach Mulkey, and every single day I'm still at the point to where I'm just still really, really trying to learn. And whenever the time comes, the time comes. But right now I'm really excited about kind of what we have here and the future here.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, and I think that's some good wisdom that, I think we probably talk to our players a lot about, hey, listen, like, it's okay for you to have individual goals. Like, it's okay for you to want, to be an all-conference player if that's what your talent is and you're playing, but it's the team stuff's got to come first.
Yes.
And if the team stuff does come first and you're good enough, that other stuff will come. And so I think it's the same way, for coaches is, if you're thinking about the next thing and you're not where your feet are and you're, trying to line things up for that, you're not going to do your best where you are.
It's impossible to give your all to a situation that you're not fully invested in. And because I'm fully invested here, this has to go good. Like, I can't even think about anything going on in the future if this doesn't go right. So I need this to go as good as I can possibly help it get. I play just a small role here, but I think every single small role here is really important. So I think that's great, and I think that people even mentioning it or asking me that, like, I think that's cool. But all in all, like, I'm really just trying to help this program reach every single goal I think it can.
Man, I got to ask, working alongside Starkey and Mulkey, do you ever even man, I don't even know if I should say that. When it comes time to make suggestions or, how did you find your voice and find the confidence to, alongside two all-time legends? How was that kind of finding your way into your voice and your confidence to say your piece?
I've never been short for confidence or a voice. I like to talk. I think that's one thing when even – I guess you can call it an interview, kind of, with Mulkey. She wanted me to do that. Like, I told her before even coming here, like, I can't just come here and sit still and stay quiet. That's not really what I do. So it was easy, and she empowers me. Starkey empowers me. They tell me to talk, and I have suggestions. She listens to some of them she doesn't. And it is what it is, and you move on. But it's really cool when you sit back and think about it, working with them. Both of them were a big reason why I decided to come here. Mulkey is Mulkey, but when she let me know that Starkey was coming here too, it became a no-brainer for me because I wanted to become a really good assistant. I think that was the thing for me. I wanted to be the best assistant possible to then learn how to truly become a head coach. So it's cool. I don't really have a problem kind of saying what I have to say. I think that I'm the yin to their super old school yang. Yeah. So it's cool. It's cool. I hadn't had a problem with it though.
Yes, Starkey's got the Twitter juice now. He's pumping out content, and on my assistant coach post, whatever, he hit congratulations. Probably don't even know who I am, but I was like, you're a real one for that.
He doesn't sleep. You wake up at any time of the night, and he's going to have just posted something on Instagram. He'll just have tweeted something. He'll have put some on his website. That's Starkey. Oh, he doesn't sleep. Doesn't sleep.
Man's got more nuggets than McDonald's.
Oh, yeah, for a fact.
He's killing it. You have been fortunate enough to be at a couple places. Spent some time at Delta State, which, to go from Delta State and making the next jump you made was pretty impressive. And I've been to Delta State, and there's not a lot but basketball rolling on down there, and pretty cool mascot, fighting ochre thing.
Oh, yeah.
Not 100% sure what it is, but pretty cool place. But having been there and SMU and the stops you've made to where you're at today, what are some different things that you've picked up at each place that you're like, man, that was gold there? I'm so grateful for having been there because my career is going to be better because I learned this. So what were some just major big picture stuff that you really picked up that you just love that you'll always carry with you?
I think overall, you hear people say it, and I heard the quote so many times, but I think that overall, when you hear the journey is the actual reward. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I've been to Delta and I worked for Craig Roden, who I thought that what we did most days, I was like, this is so old school, but it's so detail oriented. And I was like, I used to feel like I was getting bored with it at times, but as I kept going through it, I was like, this makes sense. And fast forward to now, like I feel like a lot of the principles that he was teaching are a lot of the same things that Mulkey teaches every single day. So I think just kind of those details and accountability. I think as a younger coach, I think one thing that younger coaches struggle with is being able to kind of pass along that accountability and having accountability measures. But I think working for two coaches like Roden and Mulkey, I think it's made it clear to me that you have to have it. And it's hard to have success if you don't have it because, people will kind of start being able to do whatever they want to do. And that's not, you can't be successful that way. I think that being at Vanderbilt, working with Steph, who's with the Connecticut Sun, or with the Indiana Fever now, I learned more about basketball in those 3 years than I had my entire life. And I'm one who thought that I was really well-versed in basketball. But learning the strategic part of it from her was something that was great. So I think when you kind of mix those two things together, because they're kind of the complete opposite, what we do here and what we did at Vanderbilt with Steph, I think that when you find a good marriage of those two, and, I feel like I kind of can put my own twist on the two. I think those are the main things for me, kind of the strategy from one and, like, the details and accountability from the other.
Yeah, I think it's, and the accountability piece today more than ever. In the age of the transfer portal, this is something I ask a lot of coaches because I think it's waters that we have to navigate, and it's not going away. It's even at the high school level. I mean, there's a high school transfer portal too, and they're fighting it too.
Yeah.
And so I think that's my biggest fear in all of this is that we let up on the accountability stuff for fear of losing our best players. And then what are we setting them up for in life after this? And if we talk about, man, we want to prepare them for life after basketball and we want to make them be better people. Now, if you don't say that stuff, you don't promise them that. Well, you didn't promise them that. All right, you let them run wild. But, if you sat there and told their parents and their family, we're going to help them grow up a little bit every day, and we're going to help them become an adult, and we're going to help them get ready for the world. The world's not going to, let you slide with that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very short-lived. So, how do you balance that piece?
You can't be scared. And I think that's the main thing with Mulkey. I love that. I never have to worry about that here. You can't be scared of the young ladies that you have. And it's a part of, like, not being scared of them, but also having real, genuine relationships. I tell them all the time in recruiting, I'm like, if you start acting up, I'm calling your parents. I'm calling them. Like, if it gets to a certain point, I will call them, and they say I'm a snitch and all of that. But I think that it's just a part of having real relationships. And if it gets to the point to where they want to leave, you have a conversation about it, but you can't be scared of them leaving. You can't, if you live in fear of them leaving, they start to run your program, and you can't run a successful program like that. So I think that's the main thing, like that I've learned from Mulkey. Mulkey isn't scared at all of anybody, doing anything when it comes to her program. So, and that comes from disciplining them. That comes from them potentially leaving, anything. Like, I think that you have to have tough conversations. You have to attack it kind of head on and just kind of go from there.
Yeah. No, I think we all believe you when you say that she is not scared to coach or
at all.
Scared of the portal.
At all.
So you guys are going to be in the mix for championships for as long as you guys are here. Is that something that you guys will address with the team? Is it something that you talk about a lot, don't talk about it all? I think that's an interesting thing, whether it's high school teams competing for district championships or college teams for conference championships or whatever. When you've got a team that's got some expectations, how do you handle that, and how do you balance that with, like, all right, look, we just got to be great today. Like, today has to be the only day in front of us.
I think it's a mixture of both of those things. We talk about it. We have really big goals, and we have really big goals as a program. We have really big goals as, like, each individual team. And you make those goals clear. The goal can't be every single year, okay, yeah, we want to win the championship. I think if that's your only goal, I don't think you're gonna be let down a whole lot. So we understand that we have really big goals. We state those goals. We let them know how good we can be every single year and the standard that we want to meet. But like you said, it's every single day. And if Coach Starkey said it once, he said it a million times. Every day matters. Today matters. So we really stick to, we just want to have a good practice every day. Like, let's have a good practice today. Did you get better or did you get worse? Because it has to be one of the two. You're never staying the same. So we try to get them to understand that. And once they start to understand that part of it and understand the small wins, then the big wins come. Now you can, compete to win a championship, but you can't compete to win a championship if, you have bad practice habits and you can't get up to practice every single day. And that's the hard part, right? Getting them to do it day after day. But I think that's the beauty of coaching. Right, and that's the beauty of like getting them to understand that part of it. And some days it's come on, yay, rah rah, like let's do this. But then other days is, hey, you better get with it, or you don't get to play anymore because you aren't helping us get to this point. So we state our goals. It's just like a player. We talked about individual success, right? If Flage wants to be National Player of the Year, you aren't going to be National Player of the Year if you have 4 bad practices in a row. You got to come out here and you got to practice hard, even if the game is easy, because it's not about right now. Like, is it going to be easy when we're playing against this team or that team? You get what I'm saying? So we state our goals, but we also understand that, like, every single day is really important.
Yeah, for sure. And I think something, I learned early in my career is, when you do have those teams that are capable of winning championships, if you make that the goal and the only goal and you don't get there, well, then was your whole season success?
Right.
And it just lends itself to focusing on the destination and forgetting about the journey. Mm-hmm. And it's the joy is in the journey.
Yes.
And this thing's too hard and too long of a season to not be enjoying the journey. So I think it's awesome to, not be scared of that moment, because when that moment comes, it's not, okay, we're in a championship game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, look, we've talked about this. Like,
Right.
We're prepared for this. We're built for this.
Right.
But also we're going to enjoy the journey and take it day by day. I think that's a good balance.
Yep.
How important do you think social media is in the recruiting or the recruitment process? And how have you utilized and that piece of it in recruiting?
I think it's really important, but I think it's only really important if it's something that you do and if it's something that comes natural to you. I'm on social media anyway, and I would be on social media anyway, so why not highlight some of the things that we're doing or get a message across to somebody that I'm trying to get the message across to. A lot of times if I tweet something or put something on Instagram, it may be directed towards one specific person, but a lot of times the shoe fits. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? And a lot of times if it's not directed towards one player, that one player may feel a little left out. That one player may then want to be in at that moment. So the kids are there. They're on social media, most of them, not all, but most of them are on social media, one of the platforms. So I think that, if you are kind of where they are, that you can kind of get your point across a little bit easier. So I just try to use it the best way I can. I talk to a lot of them on social media. They'll write you in a DM before they'll text you back a lot of times. You get what I'm saying? So I utilize it the best way I know how. It's been a really good tool for me, dating back to when I was at Delta State. I really just try to promote our program the best that I can and then just kind of go from there. Like, I'm still me, but right now I'm like, yeah, that's Coach G from LSU. I think that a lot of people know who I am from that. I've built like randomly like a little following on social media, and I think it's cool to see because I'm literally just doing the same thing that I've been doing since before I was even coaching. But yeah, like I think it's really important, especially if you utilize it right, and especially if it comes natural to you. I think that anytime you have an audience of literally everyone that's right there, and whatever it is that I say, they're going to be able to like see it. Now if they like this, now I know, oh, okay, they like this. Let me follow up with them. Like, let me say something else to kind of that is, along those same lines or whatever it is. So I think social media is great.
Yeah, and you ain't kidding. It's been great to you too. I think go ahead and hit me with the SMU DM story. Let our listeners know about that because that's an unreal situation, man.
I mean, it was random. We got fired. We got fired from Vanderbilt. The news got announced maybe at like noon. I made it. I got home. I was sad, right? And all of a sudden, I got a DM from Jasmine Player. I didn't even know she was going to SMU. She played for Coach Mulkey, but I didn't even know. I knew she was an assistant at Kansas. I didn't know her from SMU, but she like sent me a DM on Twitter and sent me the eyes. And I was like, "What's up?" And she was like, "What you trying to do?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Right as that was going on, Toyelle, who's the head coach at SMU, she DM'd me and she was like, "Hey, I'm trying to get in touch with you." She was like, "Here's my number, call me." I just looked at it for a second. She was like, "I want you to come to SMU." And I was like, okay. I called her. Literally that day, we got fired a couple hours earlier. I called her. We had a conversation. She offered me the job. The next day, I accepted it. So
that's pretty impressive,
off
man.
social media. She said that I feel like she could have got my number. I really do, but we followed each other on Instagram. So I think that made it just a little bit easier. I think that social media makes the world so small and it makes you the reach. The reach is just so easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a that was a whirlwind of a day.
Yeah.
And it ended up, social media.
Man, if I get fired tomorrow, I'm probably have to go move in with my mom for a couple of months. I ain't got it like that, I don't think. So good on you, man. Recruiting is obviously the lifeblood of the program, but I think right alongside that, your development's got to be really, really good. How have you approached that, holistically when you're looking at like player development? And then how do you, from an individual standpoint, how much of it is players like, I want to improve these things, and you're like, well, here's some things that you need to improve on, and is it what works in our system? Is it what just makes you a better basketball player? What's your player development philosophy?
For me, player development, yes, it's getting out there on the court and it's working on things that you need to get better at. It's improving your strengths. But for me, a lot of it is just instilling like a certain level of confidence in you. And it's really getting to know you. It's figuring out kind of what makes you tick. I want to know what makes you mad. I want to know what like lifts you up. And you learn a lot of those things in just simple conversations. So a lot of times when we're warming up, whether that's ball handling, whether that's form shooting, kind of whatever that may be, I'm just talking. And they forget that they're even in the gym, and a lot of times they even forget that I'm their coach, and we're just kind of learning about each other. We already have relationships from the recruiting process, but I'm really just getting to know you. I really that may be my favorite part of coaching, just the relationships built during development, because you really like you learn more about them. They open up a lot more on the basketball court. You can have try to have the same conversation out at a coffee shop, and they won't open up to you as much as a lot of them do on the court. So I think I take that type of holistic approach because I really want to get to know you, and I really want to get to know what your goals are. I really want to get to know why you play basketball, what you want to get out of basketball. Sometimes it's as simple as kind of what you're going through that day, what you're going through that week. But for the most part, it's like a big picture kind of thing when it comes to the development. I think that's one reason me and Angel got so close. We used to go in the gym and we used to talk for hours. We used to work out, yes, but like we really got to know each other. It builds a certain level of trust. It's hard to like really like take development to the next level without trust. And one thing that I try to always build is a certain level of trust and just kind of taking that relationship to the next level. Because basketball should always be fun. A lot of times when you get to this level, it isn't as fun because it's so much pressure on you or kind of whatever it may be. But I just try to figure out how I can get the most out of them. Some of them, I talk trash to them. Some of them, they need hugs, but I figured that out. A lot of times when we're doing like individual or small group development, right? So I just try to get the most out of them, but I try to get the most out of them by really getting to know them even more, kind of in that individualized space.
Man, I think there's so much value to what you're saying there. Like, if you've got someone that loves basketball as much as you hope they love it, you recruited them, you better hope they love it, then their game is unbelievably important to them. And so if they're going to really listen to what you have to say, we've all heard the saying, kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes.
I don't think that's any different when it comes to the player development piece. I mean, I think that's a great, great insight and a great thought that, I've never really thought about is, player development. I could be the greatest, put you through anything and really grow your game. But if you don't really trust me and you ain't really all in, we're probably not going to get the most out of it.
It's really hard for kids, I've learned, to give their all if they don't really have like that type of connection with you. I talk hard at some of them, but some of them, like, I understand, like, while everyone's fussing at you, hey, like, why? And I ask them a lot of questions, like, because a lot of times the development, it rolls over into practice, right? And I have to ask a lot of questions, like, hey, why did you come here? Why did you say you came here? Like, if you don't want to do this, like, why are you here? Like, and what do you really want to do? Like, do you still really want to be here and still do all the things that you used to say you wanted to do? Because sometimes it changes. Sometimes you see it change, but I think that you have to have that understanding. And I think a lot of what I do is just, again, it's relationships, man. Like, relationships are really important to what I do. Specific to me, like, everybody can kind of do it a little bit different, but for me, I have to have a certain type of relationship with you because I have to be able to talk to you normal. I have to be able to talk to you how I talk to you. And when I can do that, I think that I've seen, especially, like, really at every stop, like, you see it all kind of grow. I think that to be able to see Angel, for example, because I think she's the latest example, to be able to just kind of see her flourish, it's been so rewarding. Like, myself and my wife, like, we literally look at Angel like she's our kid. So to be able to see her out here doing all these great things when she's still, like, at heart, like, she's still just Angel. Like, she's Angel. Like, she's Michaela. She's Flage. Like, these kids are really just kids. And they really just need someone to, like, be able to hear them. So I take that space to not just, ask them questions and all of that, but I hear them. And I want them to know that I'm really listening.
Yeah, that's huge, man. All right, Coach, I got a quote from one of your former players here.
Okay.
Quote is, all he wants to do is help you become the best version of yourself. He knows how to work with everyone and knows how to approach each player differently. He helped me improve my post game and my rebounding, and he believed in me more than I did myself. When you hear something like that, when you've got someone that
Who said that?
We've got Mariella Fasola.
Foss. Okay.
Okay, and so that's, I mean, at the end of the day, is there anything like greater than hearing that? You help someone believe in them when they didn't believe themselves, or helping them get there to that point.
That's the goal for me.
That's got to be it.
That's the goal for me. Like, that's all I'm really trying to do. A lot of times when I'm, like, whether it's fussing, whether it's, like, trying to pull it out of them, sometimes they don't understand it, and sometimes they wish that I would just shut up. And I get that. But when you hear that, like, I think that's when you realize that it's all worth it. These players are good. Like, these players are all really good already. If you can play in college, you're a really good basketball player. I think especially at our level, like, you see these players come in and they're so gifted and they're so talented. And I tell all of them, you're a much better player than I was. Like, understand that, like, from here. Like, you're a much better basketball player than I was. You're in the top percentile of players, right? But one thing about me, I always really I believed in myself. I really believed in myself. I still do. So if I can help someone else, like, really believe in all that they bring, and that's not just to a basketball team, that's to the world. If I really can get them to believe that, like, I feel like my job is done.
That's a superpower, man. That's some life-changing stuff.
Yeah.
That's beyond basketball, man. That's good stuff right there. All right, Coach, we're going to move on to our quick hitter segment here. We're going to hit just a couple different things across the college landscape and just see what you think.
Okay.
What are some of the unique challenges facing student athletes today? I think it's easy for everybody to just look at them and go, man, they got everything so easy, and hey, they do got it great. They do. But what are some of the unique things that you see that they're dealing with today?
Social media. I think that's one of the main ones, because on social media, everybody is posting the great things that they have going on. Like if I have a good game, everyone is posting about me. I get a mixtape. You get what I'm saying? I get all this praise, but then what if I don't have a good game? Like, oh my God, like I have to make sure that I have a good game, especially now. Like, I may not get this NIL deal that I'm trying to get. I may not win this award that I'm trying to win. People may tell me I suck on social media. You get what I'm saying? And I think, again, like, because social media has made the world so small, a lot of these people that you feel like matter are people who they don't know you and you don't know them, but their opinion means so much. I think that's one thing, especially in women's college basketball, that a lot of these young ladies deal with is tough. It's tough. And when you get them to kind of, start to navigate through that and try to help them through that, I think that, they benefit from it. But I think that right now that is so unique in the landscape of sports today. I think social media, just dealing with the pressure of it, dealing with the feedback, like figuring out how to just kind of put down your phone and pay attention to some people who are around you every day and who matter a little bit more. I think I would say social media.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. And, God forbid, they take a beating on the men's side with these sports, people betting on the games.
Parlays, right? Like, that's the thing.
They're killing them, man. So I'm glad it's not as much in our game.
Right.
All right, this question, the heart of this question gets at keeping the main thing the main thing. So if you had 1 hour to prepare for an opponent in a championship game, what would you cover? What would you hit on?
Personnel. What can they shoot? Can they not shoot? Can they dribble? Which way do they like to go? More than, like, everybody has sets. People have sets that work. Some people have sets that don't work. But overall, like, what can these players do? Like, what can the person that you may be guarding, what can they do, and how can you stop it? And I think if you cover that and if you get that really, really down, I think you're always going to have success. I think here with us, Coach Starkey does an amazing job at scouting other teams, as well as Kaylin and as well as Coach Mulkey kind of being involved as she is. But I think that if you have, like, the personnel and the kind of the individual matchups, if you get that situated, that would be the main thing for me, because a lot of times, as long as you understand someone's strengths and weaknesses and you really know it, and if you have an hour, you should be able to really get that down. You may not be able to get down these 10 plays that they run, right? But I think that you can get down personnel pretty quick. Most teams play, 8, 9 players? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know what the top 6, 7 do, like, and you really have it down, I think that you're going to have a lot of success. I think that, we try to keep it really simple, like take away strong hand, straight line drives, hands up on shooters, pressure those who are, weak ball handlers, little stuff like that. I think that if you understand that, you're going to have success. So for me, I definitely would say if I have an hour, I just want to really hit home on personnel.
Well, I've had the great misfortune of scouting you guys and getting ready for this game.
Did you do personnel?
We did do personnel. We'll see how much it matters.
We don't run many sets.
No, and that's at the top of the scout. It says maybe the easiest scout to go over,
what we're doing,
and the most impossible scout to guard. Yeah. And as long as you do what you do well, it don't always matter.
Yeah.
So 100%.
Yeah.
But it's funny you say that, because that's what. I think it's so easy as you're playing non-conference teams, especially if you're at a higher level playing a mid-major or low D1. I think it'd be easy to just kind of go through the motions.
Yeah.
But seeing you guys attack personnel in any game, every game, doing certain things that you did to this guy on this game, but not this guy on this game, so it's okay. Like, they're not going to give us nothing. This ain't like, there's some teams that might sleepwalk out there, and you can go have some fun and get some easy, and your stuff's going to work because they're just kind of going through it. I was like, guys, this ain't gonna be that. You know, but nobody's cracked 50 yet. They're not Santa Claus. They ain't giving us no gifts, so we better go earn something.
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
that's good stuff. All right, Coach, we're gonna throw the full court press on you.
Okay.
You got 10 seconds to answer and get it across. All right.
Mm-hmm.
First one. If you could change one thing about women's college basketball, what would it be?
Recruiting, and recruiting in the aspect of I would make it more like football, where even if a kid commits, you still can recruit them and you fight it out until signing day.
That would make it a lot more entertaining
Yeah.
for everybody else,
Yeah.
and coaches lose a lot more sleep.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Hardest action or actions to guard in basketball? What do you hate preparing for?
Drag ball screens. I think if a team does that well, think about like Caitlin Clark, right? Like it was so hard. They didn't do really anything special, but she got so many drag ball screens. Do I go under? Is it too low to go under? Is it high enough? Do I still need to go over? Is the post player, are they up far enough to help me? You get what I'm saying? It happens so fast. Like they're coming in transition. Am I backpedaling? Starkey hates backpedaling. Am I back and am I set? A lot of times with drag ball screens, you're not back and you're not set. Y'all run a lot of drag ball screens, and that's something that we went over because we have to be back and you have to be set. But you also have to be able to get through kind of clean and be able to guard them one-on-one and not have to force that help and not have to force a rotation that you didn't need to force in the first place. So I definitely think drag ball screens. I think that you watch the pros and you watch a lot of these coaches. We did them a lot at Vanderbilt. They run a lot of drag ball screens because especially when you have like a quick guard or a dynamic guard who can do some stuff. Pook, she can do some stuff. Like I remember her when she was on the circuit. She's a really good point guard, and she's dynamic, and she can get downhill, but she can make all of the passes, whether it's the spray out to the side or the throwback, like whatever it is. It makes it a lot more difficult when you have a post setting the ball screen who can shoot, like y'all's post player, right? So I would say drag ball screens. Hate them.
I hope you're right.
I hope we guard them right. That's what I hope. Or you're going to see people getting subbed in and out of there quick.
All right, man. Last one. Aside from your place, aside from the PMAC, what's the toughest place to play in the SEC?
I have two answers, and they're for two different reasons. The toughest place to play is probably South Carolina. They fill it up. It's loud. They have the white towels waving. They got the music blasting. The fans feel like kind of right on top of you, and they're going crazy. They really support their team. They have a phenomenal team and program. So South Carolina, yes, but Vanderbilt. And I coached at Vanderbilt, so I have a unique perspective. When you coach at Vanderbilt, you don't really understand. I used to always wonder why I would sweat through all my shirts, but I was used to it. When you go as an opposing team, it's hot. It's very hot. And not only is it hot, but you're at the ends and not on the sides. They can't hear you on one side of the court. You got to walk all the way out. It gives you a very, I think Vanderbilt has a great home court advantage. I loved coaching at Vanderbilt for that reason. Now, when we go and play there now, I hate it. So I think that I would put them like right up at the top with toughest places to play just because of the kind of it's theater style or whatever. It's really unique. It's really, really unique. So I would say Vanderbilt.
We played them in the WNIT a couple years ago, and wore our big white heavy wool pullovers. Thought we looked clean.
Drenched.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
We had bags of ice for the girls. We had like pocket fans over there trying to cool them off. Everybody was cramping up. Everybody was tired. I don't know why they won't cut the AC on in there. I didn't realize it when I was there. I realized it in the summer because in the summer we rarely would go down to the main floor because it was so hot.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I thought that they cut the air on during the season. I think because it's a little cooler outside. But no, it's still really hot.
Yeah.
It's really hot. So, yeah, Memorial at Vandy.
Those are good. Hey, Coach, man, I appreciate you taking the time here on game day to spend some time, share your knowledge, share the game, help grow the game, and looking forward to going toe-to-toe tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we can give you a little something.
There we go. Thanks for having me.
For sure.
All right, man.
See you, man.
See you.